now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage you in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Pull out your smartphone, save our hotline number in your phone, 813-670-7372.
Here's my number, so call me maybe.
813-670-7372. We're going to help you win in any marketplace. We also want you to bookmark our website because at some point you're going to need it. The website is consumerqb.com. consumerqb.com. Click on that website there. You'll see links to all of our expert contributors. You'll see their contact information, 80-plus show partners, and we all want to help you win no matter what you're facing. It's Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks here in studio with me today. Back in studio, Jason Avery. He's the owner of Avery Construction, Avery Remodeling. Welcome back in, sir.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here. How you been?
Yeah, things are good.
We're, Avery Construction has been on autopilot, almost for a couple of years now. I've been so, comfortable as the operation has really, streamlined itself, and I've got a great team of people installed, and that's done wonders. Now we're opening a new business. That's Designer Cabinets LLC in our custom shop, and I tell you, that brings a whole new world of challenges. And so we've all heard of Murphy's Law. I met Murphy here the last couple of weeks, and I punched him square in the mouth. So let me tell you, but that's just goes back to the old saying that successful people will do the little things that unsuccessful people won't. And
right.
To some people, the challenges we've been through would just be unbearable. And but we've faced them head on and barreled through, and here we are. We're coming out of the other side. We've got cabinets in production and exciting things happening.
I love it.
It's very nice.
Very nice. And addicted to winning.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Chuck Peterson is in the house as well. He's the executive director of Suncoast Roofing. Welcome in.
Well, glad to be back. Glad to see Jason finally getting his cabinet shop going, and we know all about Murphy. We deal with Murphy daily, it seems like, in our lovely business.
Law.
Yeah.
It happens out there.
Oh, shoot, if it can go wrong, it does go wrong. That's how it goes.
Yeah, from time to time.
Yes, not even time to time, day to day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
When you're working as many jobs as we're working, it's every day.
Chuck Peterson in the house. We met his team down at the home show down there as well this past weekend. Brad was there. Mary was there. They're going to be at a lot of these home shows coming up as well, so make sure you check them out. Jason, you were there. For some reason, I didn't see you. I was hitting.
I had the staff out there working most of the time. And on Sunday, I was there for Saturday for a few hours. It was a decent show, and we like the big ones, and we've got a big one coming up with Turner Expositions here at the fairgrounds Labor Day weekend, and that will be a really great event that turns out thousands and thousands of people. You got 1,000
I need to talk to them
vendors, and some of these other outfits that come in from out of town to try and compete in this marketplace, and they just don't quite bring the advertising power with them that they should,
right.
And for that, they don't get quite the turnout nor the vendor buy-in as much.
Right.
So, less than 100% satisfied with the results, but otherwise, yes, we're always there in the room when there's a local home show, and definitely it only takes a few of the right people to meet up with you before it makes that all worth it.
That's right, absolutely. Also in studio with us today, Abraham Moussa, president of Total Title Solutions, serial entrepreneur, the owner of Abe's Place, real estate development.
Best restaurant ever.
That's right.
I love this guy. Happy to be back, but this Murphy guy they keep talking about doesn't sound good. I don't want to meet him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who he is.
I hit him with a stiff arm and it comes by me. Yeah, I don't let him get close.
Stay away.
Stiff arm and then a spin move. You can't get me.
So I'll help you with Mr. Murphy, man.
All right.
Awesome, man. So we're going to talk about some of the real estate fraud, different things happening, and you're at the forefront because
I do. I'd love to warn you guys on some of the stuff that we just see on the back end of it. And like I think I mentioned that on the last show, some of it I actually have to chart it to understand how the scam worked. It's like, damn, this guy did good. I mean, so yes, please call us. Let us do your proper research first.
Yeah, do the property search, the closing, first-class service with Total Title Solutions, and longtime friends of the Quarterback Show here, and Platinum MVP Realty. So, great lineup for you today. We got a feel-good story that we're going to talk about as well. New group home offers new hope to foster kids, and we got our top 5 that we're going to jump into as well. So, giving a shout-out to Hula Bay, one of our restaurant partners in South Tampa. Go say hello to the team down at Hula Bay. Excellent waterfront dining, wonderful ambiance, the best sushi in all of Tampa Bay. It's shipped in fresh from Hawaii. The tuna, that is, shipped in fresh every 2 days from Hawaii, and it's excellent food, wide variety on the menu, and a great friendly wait staff down at Hula Bay on Tyson Avenue in beautiful South Tampa. And we're here in studio every day going against the nonsense in the mainstream media, helping you understand more about your buying decisions in Tampa Bay. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. Jason Avery is in the house, and successful construction company, many years in the business, wrote a book called, he's the author of Constructing Success, also teaching businesses, other business owners, maybe managers, on how to, model what they've done. That's what it boils down to, is, modeling success, as Jim Rohn used to talk about.
Yeah, Avery Construction, we hit the ground running, and it grew up fast. 6 years in, we're now 39 employees strong. We have a good administrative staff that keeps, sales coming in, customers that are on the plate happy, and, making sure we're dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's with the municipalities, the permits, and the inspections. So, in that business, I spend one good 2-hour staff meeting a week, kind of at the helm, and making sure that I stay in tune with what's going on in the company and supporting each of the departments individually. But more of my time is out there building the relationships of the future. And I want to meet all the architects in town, and all the interior designers in town, and all the other general contractors just like us. And I don't fear competition. I feed into the competition. I will, hand them the referrals to the jobs that, don't make the most sense for us. We're very focused on what our target is, and we go directly after it. And if it's not a perfect fit for us, we're happy to make a recommendation to, a qualified professional. And so Avery Construction, again, in some respects, has been a little bit on autopilot, and with that, freeing up my time, I've gone on to write the book. We got the bestseller. It's all about that customer's experience when they are living at a construction site and undergoing that remodel. It's a very uncomfortable experience, and it's a challenge to get through the process and come out of the other end where the customer still likes you and wants to refer you and tell a positive story. We've gotten pretty good at managing their expectations and staying a couple steps ahead of them, like we're playing a game of chess, in order to make sure that we're communicating well and sort of preparing them for the worst, so that when it gets to that point, it's not so bad. Yeah. But with that, the book led me into my passion of the consulting and teaching. I think maybe it's bred into me. My mother was a kindergarten teacher for 25 years, so I just really enjoy, helping these younger entrepreneurs that are just getting started, that are making some of the classic mistakes that I made 6 years ago, or that they're just burning up too much of their time when there's a more efficient way. And so I try and mentor them through that and get them a little bit ahead of the curve. And sometimes it works, and I can really benefit them in their business. Sometimes they don't necessarily implement all the advice I give them, and they might have to move on one day and go back to being employed again. I actually had a contractor that just circled back around to me here recently, asking me if I had enough work to keep him full-time busy. And that's exactly where I was positioning myself to be. I'll mentor and help as long as I can until the day comes where they need the safety net. And then I want to be there for them as well to scoop them up, because that's the talent that we have out there. And we're hearing all the contractors crying about the shortage of labor and how our labor pool is shrinking. So you going forward, you better be creative, and you better be ahead of the times on how you're going to find the talent, how you're going to capture them, how you're going to keep them. So this is my strategy, and I want to meet them all right now. Those guys who are trying to do it on their own, they've got drive, they've got ambition, and maybe they're just lacking a couple of the tools they need, or maybe they're just not as good at dealing with the stress. They can't handle Murphy. I tell you, pressure is all around us in this world, and obstacles pop up all the time, and it's just a matter of how you deal with those. I don't allow myself to get stressed out by them, and I look them square in the face and figure out how I'm going to move through them. So
that's right.
Now we're expanding our cabinet efforts. We've always built cabinets at Avery Construction for ourselves, but now we want to position ourselves to build them for everybody else in town too. And It's all part of that same support network, and supplying to some of these other contractors, designers and architects, all the same people that we're doing business with on a daily basis. We want to be a bigger, better resource.
Yeah,
he sounds like Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
he really does.
Amazon?
Because that's how Amazon started this whole thing. I mean, they do what they do well, and now they, like for instance, their internet service, they did it for in-house first, and now they're selling to everybody. Right. I mean, they got so good at it, like just what Jason is doing.
Amazon, I tell you, that's you talk about Macintosh, you talk about Apple, you talk about a lot of these other companies. Amazon is the one that's actually, kind of like, wow, it looks to me like they're going to be a front leader. I mean, you got Google out there, Amazon.
I think Jason is going to be, because we need his autograph now. I mean, in the construction business, that's hands-on. I think this is an awesome model, what you're doing.
Yeah, and I love the vertical integration.
I do love one thing, what you said earlier, and I wish everybody has the same attitude as Jason does, is the age of abundance.
Yeah,
and there's plenty of work for everybody if we can all play good in the same sandbox.
That's right.
Of course, there is no room for bad contractors or any bad business person out there, but I totally appreciate his sentiment on this, because it seems like when I moved to the restaurant was so awesome, we were all like friends with each other, and I came to the title company and everybody wants to freaking like kill me or report me to stay or do something. Like it's so awful. And I appreciate his sentiment where you can help your employees, help your competitors, do your own thing, and it's awesome. We have let's keep growing the pie instead of that zero-sum game.
Yeah.
And kudos to you, man. That's why you're successful.
Yeah. Make the pie bigger for everyone.
Well, and
it's out there. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's out there. You just have to work the parameters that you have, and Jason's been great at that.
There's plenty of work, and it's just a culture, and it's a culture again within my relationships with the competition. It's a culture within the business itself, and the way that every player on the team has some form of incentive-based pay. Right. And there's nobody who's straight up hourly or straight up salary, and everybody has an incentive into their pay schedule for production, for performance, for a job well done. And with that, I try to empower people to write their own ticket. I don't want somebody's income to ever be limited. I want them to have an open-ended ceiling, and how much can you drive in the ground?
And that's going to help you retain and
you got
grow.
It, because people are different. A technician in the field, there's one guy who would prefer to come in at 8 or 9 a.m. and leave by 3, and he's going to take 3 or 4 cigarette breaks throughout the day. Yep. There's another guy who'll be on the job site by 7, stay till 6, come in again on Saturday to get ahead before the next inspection on Monday. And why would I want to tie that guy's hands and hold him back? So it's creating a model where everybody can work at the pace they're comfortable. It doesn't hurt the business.
I like that.
We don't have to stand behind them micromanaging or cracking a whip at them. They're self-motivated. If their performance is low, they feel it in the paycheck, and when they go on to do great things, they get rewarded fairly for it. So
I love it. More from Jason Avery. We've got Chuck Peterson in the house as well, Suncoast Roofing, and Abraham Moussa, president of Total Title Solutions, coming up here on the Quarterback Show. We also have a great story. New group home offers new hope to foster kids, and more from our expert contributors. And I want to let you know about a hot real estate property here in Tampa, 701 East Crenshaw Street, Tampa. 3-bedroom, 2-bath property. It's reduced. The seller is motivated, and it's an exceptional remodel that's worth a look. It's a pool home with 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, over 2,350 square feet here in Tampa Bay, just reduced down to $250,000. Check it out, 701 East Crenshaw Street, and check out our website, PlatinumMVPRealty.net. If you're looking to sell out there, we're looking for inventory, PlatinumMVPRealty.net, and we'll offer you a free comparable market analysis. So giving a shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the Maids Cleaning Service. They are referred for a reason. So we'll see you on the other side of the break. Do not touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
On November 9th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, your radio and TV
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay. Former USF football player, played on the inaugural football team at USF, and USF Bulls opened up at a preseason, the highest ranked ever preseason for the USF Bulls, number 19 now. So we're real excited. Got a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback, Quentin Flowers, and longtime quarterback on our sports teams. Now we're quarterbacking transactions for our sellers out there, our investors, our buyers. Also quarterbacking introductions to our 80-plus show partners. We've got CPAs, financial advisors, all types of real estate-related experts, from remodeling to inspections, new construction. So a lot of ways that we can help you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, but you've got to reach out, 813-670-7372. Give us a call on our hotline. Shoot a call or a text. Credit improvement, tax plans, whatever you're looking for, 813-670-7372. How to fund your retirement through an IRA, self-directed IRAs here on the Consumer Quarterback Show as well. Check out our website, consumerqb.com. Submit the form at consumerqb.com. That email comes directly to us. We're also looking for other business owners. Right now, we're looking for a select few categories, business owners that might want to join us on our show. If you're a business owner or manager, call and find out. We would love to interview you and find out if you have the style, the backing that it takes to be on our show. We'd love to talk to you about that. consumerqb.com. In studio today, we've got Jason Avery, owner of Avery Construction. We've got Chuck Peterson. He's the executive director at Suncoast Roofing. And we've got Abraham Moussa as well, president of Total Title Solutions. Let's go ahead and bring Chuck Peterson into the conversation. Chuck, so you guys are pretty much a statewide roofing company. I mean, there's some pockets you don't do, but our listening area, you're covering pretty much our whole listening area, I believe.
But a similar story to Jason's, just different as far as the company. It's 10 years old. And we grew, but we continue to grow across the state instead of expanding to different items, because we do roofing and we do roofing really well, but we try not to branch off into anything else, because we're really good at what we do. And Murphy comes along if you try to do other stuff. Trust me. Then we're calling Jason to come fix the stuff we messed up. So, that's right. And I want to give a shout out to Jason. He's, he helps us. We got a sales guy over here that just started with us a year or so ago, and he's been really helpful in helping Brad along, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I'll tell you, I appreciate having Brad as part of my power team of players that I can refer to, because it is so important to have, good resources, good subcontractors you can rely on when you're a general contractor. And roofing is one of the toughest. I've been through so many roofers that, might make it through a job or two that had come out good, and then there's that one that they just completely disappoint you. Yep. And when I am bringing that licensed professional in under our general contractor's license to do an addition, my name is on the line.
Reflects back to you.
And I tell you, it's been really, really tough out there over the years trying to keep a good roofer around, and I'm very pleased to have Suncoast Roofing.
Nice. I like that
now, because they're great.
I will say, the one thing that we strive to be the best out there. Of course, things go wrong, but the way that you can tell a company, and I'm sure Jason will attest to this, and is that, if something does go wrong, we stand behind it. We'll fix whatever happens. We'll make it right, and we'll make the customer happy when they're done. because that's what it's about.
That's right. That GAF, your master
elite. Yeah, master elite contractors for GAF. So we're in the top 2%, contractors in the state. And, you have to do a lot of stuff to maintain that level of excellence. And our production guys are great. I mean, we have probably, we got 25 crews across the state, but our production guys are really, really good. And that's why we don't mind stepping out there and telling Jason, hey, we'll do whatever it takes and we'll be right there. And when we say we'll be there, we'll be there. And we're not worried about the outcome because we know our guys they're really good.
Now, Chuck, are you noticing a couple things? I want to talk about permitting process, and I also want to talk about the labor force. Are you noticing that in your business as well?
The labor force is always short in our business because, let's be honest, you don't wake up and think, oh, hey, I want to grow up to be a roofer.
Right.
So the labor force is pretty slim in our industry as it is. When the hurricane hit on the East Coast, labor was really tight. I mean, our labor prices had to move because you couldn't get labor.
Right.
It's calmed down over there now. We're down to probably doing 20 or 30 a week on the East Coast versus 50 or 60 a week.
Let me ask you also on that same note, when you see those storms roll in, and we saw a lot of it happen with New Orleans. Do you how much of that added contractor base comes from out of the state? Don't you see a lot of people?
But I will say Florida has done really well. That you can't just roll into Florida and get a license and get to go get a permit, whether a general contractor or a roofer or anything else. Really, you have to live in the state for a year just to apply. So these guys that are coming in from out of state, these storm chasers, are trying to partner with somebody, and they do a lot of times. But we're not in the storm chasing business. We live here. We want to be able to go out to eat and see a customer we saw and not have to duck and dodge and worry about, oh, hey, they're going to say there's that sorry roofer that put a bad roof on our house. No, we want them to say, hey, there's Chuck or Brad or Mary or any of the guys that work for us anywhere, and say, hey, those are the guys that did my roof. They did a great job. If you ever need anything, come that way. The labor force is just tough. I mean, it is what it is. And so we are always looking for good labor. It's a little different than Jason's in that you can build the skill up. Roofing is a young man's sport. I mean, let's be honest, it is a young man's sport. And so, we do what we can do to get guys, that want to roof, and try to teach them what we can teach them and let them grow up through the top to, from being on the crew to being a foreman. Everybody we have in our production site started off on a crew somewhere, worked their way up, and now they're running crews or they're running the production offices on every office we have, came from guys that grew up through the company. But it's tough. I mean, it's tough.
Jay, you want to add something
to that? I was going to say, in the respect to the hurricanes, when that happens, the state of Florida is actually tough, and they will disband their own team of people out there just to be sifting through the cracks to find those unlicensed contractors that are out there trying to sling roofs. No different than looting. The way they would try and prevent that. It's something they're aware of.
100%.
When storms happen.
I mean, they'll go out there and fraud somebody in 1 second on the East Coast. I mean, they'll roll in, take your money, maybe do the roof, maybe not. And they're gone.
The thing is that so many people need roofs at the time that the backlog could be all of a sudden 3 or 4 months before you can even get your roof done, and all that time you're living with the blue tarp. And so some people just get a little bit of desperation and feel like, to get something done is better than nothing. They don't pull the permit, and I'm sure Abe has plenty to say about how that screws up the title process when it comes to try and sell. And then it's discovered at the last minute there was no permit,
or there was a NOC filed. And then nothing ever done. And you can't get it canceled off, and you have to go back and try to find a contractor.
That's your worst, actually, nightmare.
It's terrible.
Let's tie all this together. When we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to talk more about some of these different fraudulent activities happening out there by contractors, also on the real estate side, and a lot of, we're going to protect you here. We're the watchdog here, your consumer advocate, helping you win in any marketplace, Consumer Quarterback Show. And Jason Avery in studio, Chuck Peterson, as well as Abraham Moussa in studio here with us today, and having a real estate roundtable discussion talking about ways to help you be prepared and understand what's happening out there, and ways that you can also save money through our resources with Consumer Quarterback Show at consumerqb.com. Save our hotline number in your phone, 813-670-7372. 670-7372. And stay with us on the other side of the break. We're going to talk about new group home offers new hope to foster kids. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm also the owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. Published author, professional speaker. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. We would love for you to check it out, buy a copy. Become the MVP in Your Industry is available on Amazon as well. Check it out and leave a friendly review of that. We'd like to check that out. All right, so we're back here in studio helping you win in any marketplace. Giving a shout out to Signature Massage and Facial Spa. Are you looking for a place to get a massage or facial at an affordable price but without having to sign up for membership? Look no further. At Signature Massage and Facial Spa, they offer a 1-hour Swedish massage for $49.95. Always no contracts. Come in early during the early bird hours and receive an additional $10 off, and you'll receive a professional massage at a great price. For those muscles and knots that need extra work, ask about getting a deep tissue or sports massage. And if skincare is what you're looking for, they have amazing facial and microderm packages. Check out Signature Massage and Facial Spa at 11248 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa, or you can give them a call directly at 813-925-8898. 925-8898 to schedule an appointment. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you're going to get 10% off of your discount by mentioning the radio show. All right, we're back here in studio. We got Jason Avery in studio. He's the owner of Avery Construction, Avery Remodeling, and author of Constructing Success. We've got Chuck Peterson in the house. He's the executive director of Suncoast Roofing. And we also have Abraham Moussa, president of Total Title Solutions. Abraham, we were talking about, Chuck was mentioning he wants to talk about these assignment of benefits when it comes to these different types of scenarios that play out with roofing, with mold. You're seeing some of that on your end?
Well, I mean, it doesn't come to us until as he said earlier. So a regular consumer assigned the benefit of insurance to the roofing company, for instance. Okay, great. The roofing companies go ahead and file the claim. They pocket the money and they leave, but they already have actually filed for a permitting process. And of course, you go to sell the house and the permit has not been closed and there is no notice of commencement and there is no contract that was released, and good luck trying to find these people. Mm-hmm. And as Jason said earlier, roofing companies really have a bad rep in the industry to where they're flyby. But I'm glad to hear that the state of Florida is actually don't issue that license that quickly. But it does become a nightmare, and in many cases we have to vacate it or try to track somebody down or get an override or take an exception to it. So I guess as Chuck was saying earlier, as a consumer, I mean, I'm one of those people that got hurt by a roofer, and I'm still dealing with it after 4 years from now.
Wow.
In my restaurant building, and I can't get it resolved, and I still have the leak.
Wow!
So it's like the craziest thing.
Come help you out.
Yeah, I mean, literally,
Wow.
I've replaced the roof. I've done everything they asked me to do, and yet I still have a leak. And they always tell me, "Well, if you pay this more," and I keep doing it. So I guess even though I'm a business owner and I think I'm smart, I can only imagine the average Joe on the street, like they just don't know enough. And this is why we need to trust the Jason of the world, and we need to trust the Chucks of the world. I mean, and we do. Yeah. And but I think there should be like some sort of a thing says, hey, this is the checklist when you want to hire a roofer. This is the checklist when you hire Jason. And if they ask you this question, run. And they have to be alternative somewhere. So I'm glad to see. And this is why I love your show, and I love the fact that at least there is accountability. If I hire Chuck to do my roof or Jason to do my remodeling, you know what? They got to answer to us, all of us, if they don't do a good job. Right. And I think this is why consumers should really listen to this show and hire the people on that show.
Yeah, especially with the senior citizens, you know, the folks that don't know, and you know, you look at these assignment of benefits, the different storms.
It's a trickery, and Chuck says a great thing earlier, and Jason will attest to that, whether he admits it or not. We all screw up. Mm-hmm. All of us in business screw up. But the best thing he said, we make it right. Yeah. And I always say that about all of my company. Yep. All right, we always do the right thing. Yep. When things is not right, we'll make it right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've often expressed to people that, you know, the contractors of the world have the bad rap. Most of those guys had good intentions. There's a few crooks out there, but most of them had good intentions. But sometimes, you know, things can go wrong, and it's about how you deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you're still that really small contractor and you've only got 1 or 2 jobs working, when one of them starts to go south and it starts to cut off your income stream, then how do you get beyond that?
Right.
So that's the advantage that companies like us have in, the size that we've become, is that, if any 1 out of the 12 jobs running today is a problem, there's 11 others that still help fund the operation to make sure that everything is, getting wrapped up appropriately.
Right.
And we can afford to fix it. And,
Right.
But that being said,
Very good point.
But that being said, we didn't get to be the size we are by not fixing it, even when it was a little problem back at the beginning, because that word of mouth is what grows all these businesses.
That's right.
More than anything else we do.
Yep.
I mean, you're always asking somebody, do you know a good title company? Do you know a good contractor? Do you know, they ask more than they'll look online, but they're still going to ask. And it's that word of mouth because we fixed whatever. We did what was right for the consumer.
Absolutely.
So, and where I was going with that is that in order for the companies of our size to actually operate out there and do things the right way by the book, there's a cost to that. And there's many guys out there that are willing to cut corners,
right,
and not go the full distance with them. So
that's right.
There's a cost to it, and that's sometimes the deterrent for the consumer out there when they don't clearly understand the difference, and when they see, why is this guy half the price of you? Well, because again, it does cost money to do things the right way. So we're not always going to be the cheap ones
the
out there.
Unlicensed handyman,
but like the great lesson in life, you get what you pay for.
That's
and,
right.
That's how it works.
Yeah, we're helping you avoid that with the Consumer Quarterback Show. that's the goal of our show. So we want you to, if you're listening to this show right now, save our hotline number in your phone. At some point you're going to need it. Refer us to someone that you know. We have, again, 80 show partners. We want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial, your business, your tax, your CPA, your credit improvement. So many different ways that we can help you. Save our hotline number in your phone, 813-670-7372. You can call or text that line with any questions you may have, 813-670-7372, and also consumerqb.com, consumerqb.com. So we're going to help you win in any marketplace. And so we're having a real estate roundtable discussion. Let's talk a little bit about the title funding process, and also there was an interesting story that was in the news recently as well.
Well, we kind of been following up on that story a while back. Let me just remind you guys quickly. Somebody went on the real estate auction, and for a foreclosure auction, which is run by the county, bought what he assumed to be a first mortgage, figuring he can own this condo for that kind of money. It was an awesome deal, except that it wasn't actually the first mortgage. He found out that Wells Fargo is still trying to foreclose on that condo, and he actually paid that $450,000 to a second mortgage holder. So the gentleman that did all this, as I stated earlier, is really not illegal what he did.
Yeah.
The buyer should have done their homework a bit more, but they didn't. However, though, today I got on my news feed, the judge actually vacated that sale, and he had some harsh word to the buyer for not doing his job and do his due diligence, and reversed the sale. And of course, he told the seller that it was although it wasn't illegal, but it wasn't also a good practice to do so. It was just trickery more so than anything. Yeah. So he has to return the money back to that buyer.
Wow.
So which is good. I mean, that's a great win in the consumer's favor, that somebody, even though it's not illegal, that the judge still say, okay, well, wait a second, that was kind of deceiving behavior. You should return that. Yeah. So let's examine this for a second. You got Avery over there talking about how bad certain contractors out there, and the roofer, which is without saying anything, they always have bad rep for some reason because of the trains that come and go. Yeah. And the same thing when it comes to auctions. My God, you can't really. You gotta open your eyes, and you gotta hire the right people. You have to hire the professional. Says, well, let me give you this angle over here, and pay that little extra that Jason was talking about. There is a cost for doing the right thing.
Yep.
Although Jack was mentioning, sure, you have to do the right thing all the time. The intent is not good enough. Do you have the resources to do the right thing as well? Right. And that's where really consumers should hire the companies like, and yes, of course, I'm going to do my own horn and my colleagues' horn over here. Yep. The people that have the right intent and have the resources to be able to afford what comes next.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And you look at that judge that made that decision. Kudos to that judge for doing that. I mean, the person paid what they thought was a first mortgage. They paid $458,000 to buy a property they thought they were getting a good deal on. Ended up being some type of a little bit of a trickery scheme where it was a second mortgage.
Yep.
And it was just one of those situations where, wow, once the dust clears, you can kind of see it more clearly. But hindsight 2020, as they say. But kudos to the judge for making it right.
Yes. And to all the consumers out there and my colleagues and everybody else out there, sometime expensive is actually cheap. Like I've seen real estate deals that they forego the survey, right? That's their right. If they're paying in cash, that's their right. They forgo the survey. I never recommended not to go with the survey. And lo and behold, there is a freaking easement in there, or there is a pool in there, or there is now that $300 is very expensive. It would have been very cheap, not expensive, and now it's very expensive.
Yeah, you got some type of an encroachment on the property. There's so many things that can happen, and especially if it's not some, you could say, if it's a lot and block system that's been sold multiple times in a neighborhood that's a platted neighborhood, you're going to have a little less of an opportunity. But you never know. The neighbor may have put his fence in the wrong place, whatever it might be.
Brendan, I don't understand how could somebody do this, and we've seen one on a raw piece of land. Okay, because the appraisal was the survey was going to be about $1,500 because it's like a huge plot, and he forgot it. It's like you shouldn't. You have no idea what you're buying. You don't even know where your property line is. Yeah, you could be buying swamps for all. And
I feel like you're talking about one of my files. Like one of my files recently. I've had my challenges with some of my deals.
We all have challenges, but you make things right. We all make things right. We all have our challenges. If any business or any person tells you that we don't have our challenges, we're all lying.
Yeah, exactly.
We're lying about lying. I mean, that's just So
well, let's take it to the next break here. We got a new home group home going to offer new hope to foster kids. We got our feel good story of the week here, and more from our expert contributors as well. Giving a shout out to Healthy Gourmet, Felicia Lacaille with Healthy Gourmet meal plan starting at $90 a week. Optimal fuel, optimal performance. Healthy Gourmet, organic veggies, natural proteins delivered fresh 3 times a week. Meal plan starting at $90, and longtime friend of the program, Felicia Lacaille. What else do you have in this world if you don't have your health? And she's going to deliver healthy food to your home or office. 10 meals a week, $90. Great investment in your health. And Felicia Lacaille, longtime friend of the program. So when we come back, more from our expert contributors. We're going to jump into our lightning round, and we're going to talk about our top tips, things to do, things to avoid. Jason Avery in the house, Chuck Peterson, and Abraham Moussa. Stay with us. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at ConsumerQB.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, and giving a shout out to Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach. It's our official hotel partner. Now, if you want to have a beautiful staycation, just make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. You're going to get 10 to 20% off of your discounted stay over at Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach. Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude. It's a whitewashed Mediterranean palace with expansive luxury suites with balconies overlooking the intercoastal waterway. Rooftop yoga on the weekends. The Castile restaurant as well. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Excellent place to go and hang out. Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora. We're proud to have them as our hotel partner on St. Pete Beach. And we're back here in studio helping you win in any marketplace. In studio today, we've got Jason Avery. He's the owner of Avery Construction, author of Constructing Success, as well as Chuck Peterson. He's the executive director of Suncoast Roofing. And we also have Abraham Moussa in the house as well. Total Title Solutions, Abe's Place, a great restaurant in Clearwater, and also serial entrepreneur here in Tampa Bay. We're jumping into our feel-good story of the week.
Tell me something good.
All right, so a new group home offers new hope to foster kids. So 17-year-old Anthony sits on a seawall outside his Pinellas Point home. His feet dangle above the water. He feels like something he's waited for a long time. Every morning I wake up and look at the skyway, and everything out there gives me a sense of hope that can actually be something. That I can actually be something. It's a view Anthony has had for the past 5 months since he's moved into Sail Future's first ever group home. The organization started after a school mentoring program in 2013 and then began offering an alternative to juvenile detention by teaching troubled teens how to sail instead. But that morphed into even greater need, and some of the kids were successful in the boat. And what about after? So we thought, what sort of influence can we have on these boys' life? Michael Long, the program director, said, we have amazing time and experience on the boat, and if we could house them afterwards. So so the story goes on to read how they are taking this group home, organized work with Eckerd kids to find a foster care system that would fit into the new program. The 6 boys between the 15-year-old and 17-year-old live at the house with the counselors, the teachers. And Anthony said, it's been a big difference in the group home. He lived for 8 months before coming there. I was cutting school, taking back a lot, wasn't getting any work done. Anthony said, I just have a real motivation to better myself. So great story there from Bay News 9 and helping these kids. That's a great time to catch the kids when they're at that 15 to 17-year-old mark.
It's good to see you choking up there.
Right. Yeah, it's choking up. Yeah. A little something in my throat there.
Yeah.
But when you look at these youth, a lot of times today, we're taking the wrong approach with these guys. It's they're 15 to 17, 18 years old. They're in that point where if they have the wrong influences, they don't have the right idols. We were talking about earlier, Jason, with modeling, for business, modeling an expert, modeling a success pattern. Success leaves clues. So, it comes true in that story there. If these kids don't have the right, role models in their life, they're going to have mistakes. So it's neat to see that there's programs like that as an alternative to the juvenile detention centers. So that's pretty cool. All right, that's our feel-good story. Feel-good story of the week. Let's go ahead and jump into our lightning round.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds.
I majored in lightning round.
All right, so we got our top tips, things to do, things to avoid, nuggets of advice. Let's start over here with Jason Avery.
All right, so something I'm running into a lot lately is people call me in to come estimate a remodeling project in a home that they just purchased, and it's in a flood zone, and they are unaware that FEMA has a restriction on the amount of improvement they can do. Mm-hmm. They restrict up to 50% of the value of the structure. So let's think about that. If we're in flood zone, it's probably waterfront property, right?
Yep.
And or very near to. And with that, the property has a high value to it. So maybe it was a $300,000 transaction, but $200,000 of it or more is your property, and $80,000 to $100,000 of it is your structure.
Yeah.
And maybe a little less because there's some accessories to your home as well that get priced out separately. And but it's 50% of the value of that structure. So I'm finding people who thought they were going to just buy this great piece of land and in essence gut the interior and start over. And now it's a big shock to them when they find out they can't.
Wow.
And that we can maybe work on one room, and then 12 calendar months later, we could work on another room and get you there. But as we were talking about trickery, I've seen in one that was recently purchased, and why the realtor didn't catch this, but the entire house needs to be replumbed underneath. And in the customer's eyes, well, if we're going to have to replumb it anyway, we're going to redo all the bathrooms. Well, I can barely get through the cutting open of all the floors to get to all the drains to replace everything through before putting it back the way it was.
Wait, do you include the essential as part of the value?
Absolutely. Because the reality is they don't want these homes in the flood zone because they're ultimately going to take on the responsibility for them when the hurricane comes. So they want you to knock it down and build it new. They can't force you to do that, but they can restrict you on how much you can improve it so that eventually it gets to that point where somebody says, okay, let's just...
They say I learned something new.
They wear you down over time. So 50%. So you would spend that in that example. You're saying you would have spent that money in the just tearing up to get to the pipe.
Tearing up to get to the pipes, to put the pipes back in, and then put the floors, the concrete slab back, and then the floors back, just to get it back to the way it was. I would have spent up their allowance, and you couldn't do anything else.
Not much to do left. Yeah,
exactly. So it's just something that people really need to be aware of. If you're buying a home, ask that question: is it in a flood zone? And when the answer is yes, now really look at how much improvement that home is going to need, and understand that it could be a long haul to get you there.
Yeah, just to be even livable. Great point, Jason. Chuck Peterson.
I mean, my hot tip for today would be the same one I usually say is, if you're dealing with a roofing company or any contractor or anything really, is you need to do your homework. Like we were talking about our consumer a while ago. You need to do your homework, check on the companies that you have coming to your house. Make sure they're licensed by the state. Make sure they're registered in the state. Make sure that the municipality that you're living in has them on record, that they've done work in your area.
Yeah.
You need to do 10 and 15, 20 minutes worth of work on your side to make sure that you're protecting your money when you hand it out.
Yeah. So how do you do that? Just call up the city?
You can go. Yeah. I mean, you can call up and you can go look on Suncoast or Sunbiz, for the companies. You could call up any municipality and find out, are we registered? You could call up the state to see if there's any, has there been any license violations and those kind. I mean, you can do all of it pretty quick.
Yep.
Or just Google it.
Google the name of the business. Google the name of the business owner, and you'll find any skeletons that were in the closet.
Yeah,
right.
And but
all that being said, it's still going to be the state has requirements for everybody, and if you don't have those, no matter what Google says, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
You have to have all that stuff in place.
Yeah, but that's assuming you're legit. That's the point.
Yeah, well, I'm saying. I mean, it's just a phone call to find out.
Well, an easy way to verify also is that you can simply ask that contractor to provide you with copies of their insurance documents, and you can even have yourself additionally named on those insurance documents. And it's not just, though, the general liability side of it. That's the easy one for people to get. The cheap one for people to get. Work comp is where it matters. There's so many of these guys trying to be shady out there where they're just putting people on 1099 and then saying they have a waiver of work comp on them. But you only 3 people in a business can do that, and only if they're all
proprietors
in that business.
Part of the business. Right.
After that, what if a guy falls off a roof?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 30 seconds, Abe.
Okay, very quick. Con artists are likable people. Otherwise, they will not be con artists, right?
Right.
So ask more questions, wait 3 days, then make your decisions.
Yeah, slow thinking.
That's what my thing. Just remember, con artists are very likable people. Oh my God, they can sell you anything. So just be careful.
Yeah, take your time. Slow thinking versus fast thinking, developing
another good thing for these guys, and Jason like us, is, somebody that comes in your house, and even though they're likable guys, and they want 25, 50, 80%, 75% down up
Never.
front.
Yeah, don't take that. Yeah,
you gotta stop what you're doing and back up.
I want to thank our expert contributors today. That's Chuck Peterson there, Suncoast Roofing, Jason Avery Construction. I want to thank Abraham Moussa as well, president of Total Title Solutions, and a great real estate roundtable discussion here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness and be a force for good in the community. Carry some food with you. Hand it to that person that you see in need on the side of the road, and be a force for good in the community. Maybe volunteer some time at your church. And the winter months are coming up, so maybe taking time to clean out your closets and having some extra clothing on site. So Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.